All right, I have most people's quizzes in, and most of the people who got the quizzes did really well. I want to go right now over your corrections. By the way, you don't send your corrections back to me. You keep your corrections with your scratch work, and it'll be turned into me when you return to school. And remember, if you do your corrections correctly, you can wind up getting 100 on your quiz no matter what grades you got. And if you got 100 on the quiz, you have to write 100A plus none. It's the same as we did before. The only difference is you'll hold all your quizzes and your quiz corrections until we come back to school, okay? Excuse me. To start with, the beginning is a matching. And again, anytime you have a matching, you do have to write the problem, you have to write the answer, and you have to write what the answer stood for. Now, you don't have to draw the whole matching unless you got the whole thing wrong, but you do have to draw what the thing that you got wrong was. So for example, number 1 was a point. So you'd have to write point, that's the question. You have to write that. Then you have to write the answer, which is D. And then you have to show what D stood for, and that was the dot. A point is any place in space and is represented with a dot. Number 2 was a line, and a line was F. And again, you have to draw what the line looked like. It's a set of points that goes forever in both directions. To show it goes forever, it has arrows on both sides. That's what makes it a line, that it goes on both sides forever with arrows. Number 3 is a line segment. And that answer was H. And again, a line segment is a set of points that connects two endpoints. So when you draw H, it connects on both sides. It stops on both sides. There's no arrow on either side. That's what makes it a line segment. Number 4, array was B. And again, the ray looked like this. And again, it's a set of points that starts at an endpoint and goes forever in only one direction. So on one side you have an endpoint, on the other side you have an arrow. All right, and that's what makes it a ray. Number 5 was a half line. And again, the half line here was I. And again, it's a set of points that starts directly after an endpoint and goes forever in one direction. And since it goes forever in one direction, there's only one arrow. However, on the other side, there's not an endpoint, there's an open circle, which says start here, but don't include here. The dark circle says you include it. The open circle says start here, but don't include it. By the way, this is one that people messed up a lot. They mixed these two up. Again, the ray has the endpoint and goes forever. The half line starts after the endpoint and goes forever. That's the difference between a ray and a half line. A ray starts at the endpoint, it includes the endpoint. A half line starts after the endpoint, it does not include the endpoint. Number 6 would be acute angle. And the acute angle would be the angle less than 90 degrees, and that would be J. And again, it looks like this, and it opens up less, it's the small angle that opens up less than 90 degrees. Number 7 was the obtuse angle, and an obtuse angle would be C, and that's the one that opens up more than 90 degrees. And by the way, you don't have to draw them perfect, but you do have to make sure that the acute is less than 90 and the obtuse is greater than 90. And number 8 is the right angle. And a right angle is one that is exactly 90 degrees. It's the L shape, and that was G. And again, it looked like this. Number 9 was parallel lines. And parallel lines run side by side and never intersect. I'm kind of running into each other. Maybe I should have wrote this a little smaller. The parallel lines was actually A. And again, it was the two lines that go side by side and never intersect. And number 10 was the perpendicular lines. And those are the ones that intersect at 90 degrees. And that's the only one left, E. And again, it looked like this. And again, you knew it intersected at 90 degrees because it had the box on the L shape. So that's the matching. And again, if you had to do corrections on the matching, you could not just write the letter. You had to write the question, you had to write the letter answer, and you had to write what that letter stood for. And again, you don't have to write the whole matching. If you only got one or two wrong, you only have to do that one or two. If you got a whole lot wrong, and I hope you didn't, but then maybe you want to write the whole matching. But again, this is how you do the corrections for the matching. Now, the last two actually have work that have to be shown with them. So for the last two, you have to write the question, you have to show your work, and you have to get the right answer. So number 11 says angle A and angle B are complementary angles. Okay, that means they add up to 90. And it tells you the measure of angle A is 49 degrees. So if you want to find the measure B for number 11, you take 90 minus 49. That's the work you have to show. And again, 10 minus 9 is 1, 8 minus 4 is 4, and your answer is 41 degrees. By the way, I skipped writing the question here. You cannot skip writing the question here. You must write the question first. I skipped it because the longer I talk, the longer it takes to upload this video. So I want to try to save a little time. And number 12 says angle A and angle B are supplementary angles. The measure of angle A is 83 degrees. It actually says find the measure of angle A. I just noticed that when I went over this with you, but it's supposed to say find the measure of angle B. And again, supplementary angles are angles that add up to 180. So I take 180 minus 83, borrow from the 8 and make it a 7. 10 minus 3 is 7. 17 minus 8 is 9. And that's your work. And that's your right answer. So again, I've already graded everybody's quiz that turned it in. It'll be on grade links if you want to see the grade I got. But you could grade it yourself because here's the answers right here. And then I went over all the work with you. So you should be able to do the corrections and you should be able to get 100. By the way, I did go through this a little bit fast. So if you couldn't follow everything I did, you can rewind it, you can replay it, you can pause it if you need to see the work that you need. But there's no reason why everyone can't get 100 because you have the video showing you exactly how to do it. By the way, you will get another, quiz tomorrow, and it'll be on the other stuff that we talked about, polygons, types of triangles, and also types of quadrilaterals. So that'll be the next quiz you take. But today I want you to work on your corrections.